Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world and our country, but how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I want to show you today is a little snippet of conversation from an en banc panel around some restrictions that may or may not be unconstitutional around 18, 19, and 20-year-olds not getting their gun rights, not having their constitutional rights because they're under 21. Now, some of the things that I'm about to show you are annoying and dumb from the left side of the argument around gun control. But then on the other side, the positive freedom side, the pro 2A side, the Bruin side, you're going to really enjoy some of this because finally you're hearing some of these conversations coming from judges in an Atlanta court off of a Florida lawsuit. Everything will be linked in the description box below. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on if you love you some freedom. And with that said, let's get into this, people. Let me show you what is happening around a Florida gun law, which is 18, 19, and 20-year-olds restricting their rights because of their age, which I'm sure is totally not okay. Federal Appeals Court weighs Florida gun law. As you guys can see, this came out today from CBS. I want to show you a few of these conversations because this is really good stuff. Amid evolving interpretations of how firearms can be restricted, yeah, knock knock, Bruins here. That's a nice way to say that. A federal appeals court on Tuesday grappled with the constitutionality of a Florida law that bars people under the age of 21 from buying rifles and other long guns. So that's what we're effectively talking about here, okay? During what is known as an en banc hearing Tuesday in Atlanta, judges wrestled with questions about how to apply a series of U.S. Supreme Court rulings involving gun rights according to the Florida law. Now, they're talking about the Bruin decision. The Bruin decision says you have to have history, text, and tradition. In order to apply a gun law and have it check out, that's what you have to have. Okay? Now, going on that road, let me show you. I'm just going to keep on scooting down until we get to the important parts. This is some of the conversations that came about. And if you are not in the gun world and you're not a gun rights advocate, and you happen to stumble across it because you've watched some election stuff, some rights stuff, understand the stuff they're doing now with Second Amendment is what they're going to do with First Amendment. They've already started doing it. But this is how you stave this off. Check this out. Some of the judges, however, questioned the justification of prohibiting 18-year-olds, who are adults, from purchasing guns. The Florida law allows people under the age of 21 to possess or use guns, such as guns they receive as gifts. So right off the bat, does that make a lot of sense? You can't buy a gun if you're an 18, 19, or 20-year-old because you don't have constitutional rights. You can get into a mortgage. You can go ahead and sign up for the Army. You can get married. You can do all sorts of good stuff. But those gun rights, you can't buy one. But you can definitely have one on your person, and one can be gifted to you. You just can't buy one. Does that make any sense? Anyway, let's keep going. One of the issues I have is, and this is one of the judges, one of the arguments that you make is that the ban, quote, ensures that parents continue to play a key role in supervising and facilitating 18 to 20-year-olds' access to firearms. The issue is, though, an 18-year-old in the state of Florida or anywhere in any of the 50 states is a legal adult, and parents have no role or responsibility, Judge Barbara Lagoa, a former Florida Supreme Court justice, said. Exactly. They are trying to infringe on the rights of 18, 19, and 20-year-olds who can go to war, but they can't buy a gun, which is a constitutionally protected right. It's the Second Amendment. It's in there, I promise. It's right behind the first one and before the third one. Just saying. Anyway, let's continue. These types of conversations are what we need to hear more and more and more of out of judges, sitting judges, okay? Quote, Florida now has cut 18 to 21-year-olds loose and said, you're on your own. Your parents have no obligation. But then, Florida is trying to treat them as children just for firearm purposes. That's the point. Just for the Second Amendment right. Everything else is fine, just for guns. And that's where it seems like there's a mismatch between the how and the why of these older laws and how and the why of Florida's law. Luck, who also served on the Florida Supreme Court. That's two previous Supreme Court justices from the state of Florida saying, what in the actual F are you talking about? You're cut loose, 18, 19, and 20. You're an adult. The parents have no responsibility over you. However, when it comes to your gun rights, parents have responsibility over you, even though you're an adult, but now you're a child when it comes to guns, but everything else you're not. You can sure pay taxes. Yeah. Let's continue, though. Even more good stuff. Same person. Lagoa was unpersuaded by the state's arguments, repeating that you can't regulate a parent in Florida. So what is the justification for saying, well, a 20-and-a-half-year-old, you have to ask your parents to buy a firearm, but you don't have to ask them to rent an apartment for you, she asked. Guys, this is the whole point, and that's the main points I wanted to bring up. This is the point. If you want to defeat the gun control, if you want to defeat the far left tyranny, you just have to ask very simple why questions. Why would a 20-year-old have to ask to have a firearm? They don't have to ask for any other rights. They don't have to ask to sign up for the military. They don't have to ask to buy a house. They don't have to ask to get a job. And yet, when it comes to a Second Amendment protected right, all of a sudden, parental advice is required and needed and actually encouraged. It doesn't make sense on any level whatsoever. It's a gun control proposal which is falling by the wayside over and over and over again nationally. But again, Florida did this in response to a mass tragedy in the whole Davy Hogg foundational of his career. But the entire point here, you've got judges who are asking very good questions. Why is this the thing? How does this make sense? And why are we even going down this road? That, my friends, is how you start to unravel gun control through a Bruin decision. You just keep on pulling threads until all of a sudden, knock, knock, who's there? It falls. Just like the sensitive places laws in New York and California and Illinois. Just like the AR bans are going to fall eventually. Just like the MAG bans are going to fall eventually. All of it is going to continue to fall. You just have to ask the why questions, and it really starts to showcase all the holes in the arguments. Anyway, that's a little update from Florida. I want to let you guys know, and I will talk to you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.